Twitch.
Huh? Wait,
How
what's
long
it?
you been streaming on Twitch?
I just started. This is gonna be like my first thing doing something on Twitch, and then I'm gonna try to incorporate in a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, that's a great plan. But
yeah,
yeah, coming from there, I want to ask. So take us back to the beginning of everything. Like, what was your why of why you started your brand, and even from there, why did you start your basketball journey? Like, what was one
yeah,
moment you knew that everything was just bigger than the game of basketball for you to create your brand?
yeah. So with SheCanHoop, it was basically like a thing for me to connect with athletes that was in the same position as me. So like when I was going through AAU and all those different obstacles, I didn't have a high chance of getting recruited compared to some of my peers. So I wanted to create like a
Yeah,
platform to kind of showcase them and give them other options to like see different levels of basketball too.
yeah. And when you say the same position as you, you're speaking as in being under recruited.
Yeah, like under recruited. Maybe I wasn't as financially there to like meet those kind of standards of getting like the best training or being able to
Yeah,
travel everywhere, being on the top team. So I think
yeah.
that
Nah, I understand.
yeah. So with that, that's kind of like what She Can Hoop is kind of all about, you know.
If you could put one message in the Sheik and Hoop, what would it be? Like if
One
you wrapped your
message.
brand just in one sentence.
Ooh, I think like the main one I'm going with is like just built to win. I think that's like the main message of She Can Hoop is just built to win.
Yeah,
You know, like you could
yeah,
come in, everyone's different, everyone have different paths, but if you come in with that
yeah,
winning mentality, you know, eventually you're gonna get something out of it.
yeah. So I even want to get a little bit more specific with you said the under recruitment, the financially not being there part.
Hmm.
What's one moment of doubt or adversity or just failure in general who shaped you to make you who you are today on the court and off the court?
Yeah, so when I was playing AAU, it was rough. You know, my mom, she's a single mother, you know, shout out to her, but it
Yeah,
was rough when it came to managing to go to games, practices, training, and all that different those different things. So, especially too like my junior year wasn't like my best year, a lot of mental lapses, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So, it was just all those things. I didn't really have hope for myself going anywhere bigger than JUCO until I transferred to Bishop Montgomery, which gave me a lot of hope in my recruitment. You know, gave me confidence and different things like that. To where I was like, okay, like I'm kind of set, like you know. So,
yeah.
but yeah, that's
Yeah, and you
kind of
said you were having these mental laps. Can you abbreviate a little bit on that? Because I'm sure there's somebody who's watching is
yeah,
probably going through that exact problem. And if you were to tell them how you gone through it, I'm pretty sure it'll inspire somebody there.
yeah. So my junior year, I went through a lot of like depression, anxiety, which I grew up with, but it hit me like the most that year. You know,
Yeah,
it was just a lot of like different things that was happening, whether it was with teammates or just the program. But
yeah,
you know, even a long drive, like the school I was at, my junior year was like an hour away from me. So it was just different things where
yeah,
I felt like I wasn't getting better, I wasn't like good enough, or I always put pressure on myself to be better. You know what I mean? So I think those was like those mental lapses where it's like
yeah.
I just want to be good. You know, like I just want to at least be something. You know,
And let me ask you this: why did you want to be good? Why did you want to be something?
that's what I'm saying exactly. So it's like you know when you have like all these different friends and different people around you that's and especially I think social media was probably one of the biggest ruiners for me seeing that you know seeing other media sites promoting like the same girls over and over again and then you have friends that you seeing getting offers from left and right and you're not really budging and getting that yet you
Yeah,
know what I
I
mean
get it. Yeah,
you feel
social
me
media would do that. I
yeah,
agree.
so it was like, man, like when am I gonna have that opportunity to like be in that position, you know? So it
Hmm.
takes a
I
toll.
get you.
Yeah, it takes a toll.
Very true. I didn't get my first D1 offer until the summer after my senior year, so
Mm,
it was a grind. And
yeah,
being able to keep that same grind with seeing no results, it could drive you crazy. It
yeah,
really can.
yeah,
What I've heard from a lot of successful people is that will to keep pushing without seeing results. Basically, how long can you go without seeing results?
pretty much.
Because it can all hit at one time. You never really know,
That's
and
true.
that's where the character is built. That's where everything.
Yeah.
That's what determines if you really want it or not. You
Yeah.
know.
That's
Um,
facts.
and then going from there, talking business. One of my favorite things to talk about. You're a student
Please.
athlete and brand owner. How do
Man.
you balance it all? Like, what does a day in your life look like while balancing these two things?
Yeah, like so being a student athlete and also being like a business owner, one of the biggest things for me is just like I'm still figuring it out, but like just creating a schedule around it. Like when am I gonna post? When I am gonna contact this person? How can I balance it with workouts and you know what I mean and different things like that. I think is the biggest thing is like a routine and a schedule. Like I set my alarm for like 6:30 in the morning now. Like for these past like 2 months, like just waking up. So I think the biggest thing is just a routine, making sure like it might get repetitive, but like it's gonna be worth it at the end, you know. Like
Very
so
strong.
yeah, so it's just like that, like just making sure like same routine.
What does that specific routine look like for you? I know you said make it repetitive, but that's what's on the other side of
Yeah,
it. You know, you something you got to do. So, what
yeah.
would that routine look like
So
for you specifically?
like with me, like right now, like I've been waking up at like around 6:30, just making because I get a lot of people that tag me and things. So I just try to make sure I see that, see those people, collab with those people. I'm doing an internship right now, so I go to the internship. After that internship, I find time to go on She Can Hoop and just make sure like I'm contacting kids, contacting people, seeing or if kids reaching out to me about certain things, making sure I get back at that. And then I try to make sure like
Yeah,
I have time where She Can Hoop isn't like always like my like life. So I make sure I have like
yeah,
a certain time where it's like, okay, I need to kind of like take a break. You know what I mean? So I think those are
yeah,
like the biggest things, you know. And of course, routines could change. Like different things, you don't know what's gonna happen on that day, but just making sure something is just set, so you know, okay, maybe I could switch something here, and then switch something here is kind of like my thing.
yeah. So with that, I'm positive this routine's gonna work. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see She Can Hoop Media in 5 years?
In 5 years, I feel like hopefully what I want to do with She Can Hoop is kind of build it into where it's like a circuit on its own, where it's like there's kids, whether it's national teams, whatever, creating a circuit for kids could kind of like play basketball.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you want to host like tournaments and stuff for
Yeah,
sure.
like things like that where it's like okay, like all these kids are out here, maybe not have offers, maybe have some, but all of them is there. You know. So
Yeah,
it's like
very
a
true.
community. I kind of want it to be more of a community later. You
Yeah,
know. So
yeah, very true. How would you see it turning into a community more than just a tournament? Would you see like kind of like a social media presence from there? Would you see like more in person stuff? Like how would you see it? Where would you see it? Do you see yourself staying on the West Coast with it? Do you see yourself all over the country? Do you see yourself all over the world?
yeah, so I kind of see myself right now like over the country. I feel like there's a lot of talent that's just not in California or like nearby states like Las Vegas. But I feel like right now like I'm
Yeah,
contacting out of state like well, Arizona's kind of close. I've been getting contact with them, but a lot of East Coast, down South girls too. You know what I mean? That we might not know about out here that I could still promote.
very true.
So I just want it to be just at least countrywide where girls could be like, oh, there's something for me too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah, so
very
that's
true.
kind of how I want it to be.
Mm-hmm. That's fire, man. And from there, if there was a young girl out there chasing, sports or wanting to start her own thing like this, what would be one message you would give to her, or a message you would give to yourself,
Yeah,
your younger self?
yeah. I think the biggest thing I would tell a younger girl or myself when I was younger is don't overthink it. Just do it. You know, don't say you're gonna
Very
do it.
true.
Just be about it. You know what I mean? Just go for it.
That's
Cause I think
huge.
it's like nothing you could lose out of it. I mean, you just gotta do it. You gotta at least try and see where you're gonna go with it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's like the biggest thing. I think that's what kind of held me back a little bit because at
Yeah,
first with She Can Hoop, I didn't think it was gonna be at like how it is now. You know, but
mm-hmm.
But I had advice, to where just do it, kick it off. Why not? So
Yeah,
tried it, it's working
absolutely.
out, so I think that's the biggest thing, be
That's
about it.
good. And I like the name of it, SheCanHoop Media. Let me ask, is there a gap that you're trying to fill within women's sports as of right now? Because I think women's sports is trending like crazy. It's
Mm-hmm.
growing faster than anything else,
Yeah.
and I love it. Would you say that there's a gap trying to fill by using your brand,
Yeah, I think the
or just
biggest.
you know?
Yeah, I feel you. I think I am trying to fill in like a gap of where everyone is hoopers no matter what division. And I feel like with a lot of women basketball now, it's slowly gonna get like men's in the sense of Division 1. You know what I mean? Like Division 1 basketball, I think
Yeah,
is highly like popular, but you never see anything too much in Division 2, Division 3, JUCO, NAIA, unless they got a certain amount of
I agree.
followers. You know what I mean? So I think like just branching out and not only having kids to see, well, there is a school for me, it don't have to just be this, but also for girls to get their
Yeah,
credit, like D2 is something too. Like all these different girls could be like, well,
yeah,
I'm glad I'm getting promoted. Like I've been working for this my whole life. Like now I'm finally getting that recognition. You know what I mean? So I think
very
that's
true.
yeah. So I think that's like the biggest thing that I'm trying to fill in that gap. Like basketball is basketball.
Yeah, very true. This Hoopers are all level. People underestimate that for
Mhm.
sure. And last thing I want to ask you: what
Mhm.
makes your brand different from what's already out there, and on the court or even off the court? What separates you from everybody else?
Yeah.
What makes you unique?
I think that what makes me different from other brands is that I'm not trying to promote like the same girls. I'm trying to do different girls. Like I feel like when you look at all these like higher platforms that do media for boys and girls, don't matter. Boys and girls, any sport, it's always going to be the same players. You know what I mean? Like there might be girls that
Yeah, very.
like there might be girls that maybe is better than someone that's getting promoted, but no one knows. You know what I mean?
For
You
sure, it's
feel
like
me?
that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
no
yeah,
one knows, like at all. Like I seen girls just on national teams could be on a sponsor team and just not getting promoted. So I think that's what I'm trying to make that's different. I just want to make authentic content, which is why I think like even with myself, like it's just what makes me different is that I want to be authentic. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
moral, like my morals is standing strong on helping the underdog, the little person,
Yeah,
like
very true.
that person. You know what I mean? So I think that's
Yeah.
what kind of makes everything about me and my brand different.
Yeah, I agree with that part for sure. I think that's a major part of my brand as well.
Yeah.
I try to teach kids you have to understand the game's not fair.
Mhm.
It's gonna be against you, but you can do two things: you can complain about it, or you can learn it and take advantage of it.
I agree.
I think teaching kids how to understand this and teach them how to market themselves,
Mhm.
because like I said, no coach is gonna come save you. No, there's no scout that's randomly gonna come out there. Your parents are gonna help you with your
Mhm.
recruitment. It's up to you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think being able to teach these kids how to get themselves out there, how to market themselves,
Mhm.
you have to get yourself out the
Yeah.
dirt. Yeah, people like one of the phrases I was always taught while hooping is, "If you're good, they're gonna come find you." It's true, but to what extent?
Yeah, I heard I heard that too, and I think that's what even stumped my recruitment is like, well, you good, they gonna come and find you and check you out, but at the end of the day, you have to go to them, sometimes like, and especially
Exactly.
like what people don't realize now, basketball is a business. Like this is a business. People don't realize that,
Very
and
true.
so you have to understand this business to be able to be in this business. You know what I mean? And I feel like, especially with your
Exactly.
brand, I love what you're doing. Where like your brand, my brand, a lot of other smaller creators coming up. I feel like they're all of us is kind of promoting that, like to people that was in our shoes. Like, you can't sit
Yeah.
and wait for people to come to you. You know what I mean? You got to go to them. If you
Exactly.
want something, you got to go for it. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, you can't just sit around waiting on somebody, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to offers and stuff.
Yeah.
Something that could change your life, or you can't sit around and wait. You have
Yeah.
to go get it.
Mhm.
You have to. So,
For real.
I think that's going to be the next thing that these athletes really need to learn is, all right, it's a different game now. And now, when everything evolves, you're going to have to
Right.
start thinking different.
Right.
You got to do more than just put the ball in the hoop, my guys. Like,
No, for real. Like There's like real things in this business. You could really make real money in this, whether it's overseas, WNBA, NBA,
Yeah.
content creation, like little like different tournaments that they do with like creators. So
Yeah.
you just they just everyone have to figure out what's their thing. Like think
Yeah.
you could think real, what's your thing, what you want to go to, and then work towards that thing. Work towards
Exactly.
that goal. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. Nowadays, I don't want to say it, but I don't think basketball is just enough. You're gonna have to do a little bit more. Like you're gonna have to treat yourself as a business, and
Yeah.
that's yeah. So
Especially how it's turning to. It's different now.
yeah,
You have to make
100%.
yourself like a brand. Like you have to kind of brand yourself in a sense of what you want out of it. Okay, if you want to go get a degree, that's cool. That's great. I feel like going to college, getting your degree for free or partially for free is great. But if you want something that's really out of basketball, you really have to go and figure out like what is what do I want to do with it. And I think a lot of people go into playing basketball wanting to do basketball but don't know what part of basketball they want to be a part of.
Exactly. Yeah. That's facts.
Yeah,
That's
so
facts. I agree with that. Yeah, but I mean, from there, that's all I have from you. Any questions, comments, concerns on your side? Is there anything you want to say?
I'm good, but I really love your brand, love what you're doing, promoting mental health,
Thank
mental
you.
awareness for athletes, especially basketball players, which I don't think people really see as much. So, I appreciate you and thank you for having me on here.
Likewise, appreciate you too. Great interview. Great interview. Appreciate you, but
For sure.
other than that, everybody, that's all we got. And a great interview. And for sure, probably won't be the last one. So we'll
Sure.
see y'all. Yep.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.